I was all cutting up like normal young kids do and racing back up and down the highway, and me and another guy was racing one night, and the law got after us. We split up, and because I got away from him, and he got caught because he got stuck trying to cross the road, got stuck in the dirt, and then circled back around later, and he said, "They're looking for you." I said, "Yeah." He says, "They're going to your house." I said, "Dang." So when I went back around, went to my house, I was living with my aunt, and they were in the yard waiting on me. So I went and talked to them. They gave me a ticket. The first one I ever had, but that was the first one. So, and then later on, I talked to Delmer, Rushton, and Robert Rayburn about becoming a law enforcement officer, and we talked, and they kind of said yeah. So they went and helped me do certain things to get ready for it, and then drove to Chipley 5 days a week, 5 evenings a week. We went in the evenings, worked at 3 or 4 in the mornings, and went to school in the afternoons, and worked some in the afternoons, and kind of went from there. Chief Hooks, Clint Hooks, we had our moments. I still worked at Thriftway in the mornings, and I'd get up early, go to Thriftway, go to work there until 1 or 2, I can't remember now, and then I'd be at work at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So then I was working the middle shift a lot of the time. I worked all of them over the period of time. I ended up being there probably, all total, everything, probably about 24 and a half years is how long I was there. But like I said, I worked at Thriftway probably half that time during the same period of time. And then later on I decided, and everything was going along good, and Delmer was there, and Robert was there, and Gary Kennedy was there at one point in time. I know at some point in time he was going to retire. So I figured if I was going to do something, I quit Thriftway, and I started working day shift then, at that point in time, kind of seeing how the day stuff runs, because most of it I was working evenings and nights. And they kind of showed me around and showed me what going on, and Chief Hooks and them were both, they drove school buses. So Chief would get up early in the morning and go to the hospital and the convalescent center, and then he would come home, get ready, and get on the school bus and drive it and get off it and come to the police department, work half a day or so, and then he'd go get back on the bus and finish his bus route, and then come back out and be out till late, every day. One of those kind of people that he didn't really see color. He told me and a bunch of other people different times that everybody was purple to him. He just didn't see no color in him. He never read a stranger. I took him to Mississippi, I think it was one time, to see his brother over there who was having surgery at the Veterans Hospital over there. We stopped at the Wayside Park. He was a guy there, and he just started talking to him. I mean, he could go into a building with 1,000 people, and he'd talk to 1,001 of them, and half of them he would relate to with maybe a relative here or there, somewhere he met or something. He just didn't meet no strangers. I mean, he didn't see color. I mean, people were people. Women were women, men were men. That was it. I mean, it was nothing special about either one of them. They were all people. Back, we're talking about 4 years ago or so. You could help people, and they would appreciate it. If they were doing something, no violent crimes, but speeding, or maybe they had too much to drink, or you could go a little, more lenient. Park the car, take the keys, take them home, or get somebody to come get them, or just help them with a problem or whatever. I mean, if you could help them, he would help them. But there's people out there then and now, that you can't help. You know, back then, you know, they respected you. They took what you said to heart. And if he told you the sky was green, you go outside and it'd be green. You know, he didn't. He just didn't. And he didn't pull no punches. He was just him. Truthful, good or bad, and hurt your feelings or not, he would tell you the truth. He would come to him and with problems or needs or something, and he would go out of his way to try to help them. I learned a lot of that from him, and I worked, like I said, I worked at Thriftway. Bill and Jabe and all them. Those, you know, they're just hard-working church people.
Yeah. What about when it was time to be tough, and the chief would run up against people that he couldn't turn aside with a kind word? How did he deal with situations when it was like, no, you just have to be kind of hard on them?
Well, if he encountered something like that, they would just leave when the wagon left. They would be in it. You know, he was not in all foolishness. He would help you when he could, but when the time come to do what he had to do, he done it. You know, and even though you arrest people or take them in jail or something, you know, it's not necessarily always that you arrested them. You know, yeah, they got arrested, but they done it with, you know, they didn't disrespect them, they didn't talk down to them, they just stated a fact. You know, you got a warrant, you're gonna have to go to jail. You know, and they respected that part. Even they didn't like going to jail, but they respected how they, you know, it was.
How they were treated.
Yes, sir. He had a lot of sayings and stuff. A saying like, you know, he just something to say, old saying like people used to say back then. The biggest thing, I just watched him, you know, because whenever I decided that's what I was going to do and that's what he wanted me to do, you know, I was pretty much day shift, man, and when I was working, he was mostly out. You know, we was together lots. You know, if he had something that he needed done and Delmer or couldn't handle it or whatever, he couldn't get him or he'd be busy, you know, I would go take care of it. Delmer was his number 2 man, and I guess I would be a number 3 man to it, you know, as far as his needs and what to take care of. He just wanted everybody to be treated fair. He would go that extra mile to try to help them. And I learned that from him, and like I said, Thriftway from Bill and Jacob and them, they would go the extra mile as well to help people. He never wore a gun that you ever saw. He never wore one that I know of. He occasionally carried one in his back pocket sometimes, but, you know, you never know it was there, you know. And when I got elected, I very seldom wore a gun. I didn't even keep one in my pocket. I just didn't. People know, you know, strangers to me would know who I was. And I never had no issues with anybody that I needed one, and you know, in most cases. Today, the times we lived in back then, the people were a different breed than they are today. You know, even though you had to do your job, they didn't hold it against you. When I was the police chief, we got cameras inside the patrol cars, and we had body mics and stuff, which is, you know, the officers complained and fussed about it, and I said, you know, it's just another tool, but it's a sword. It can save your life, or it can cut your head off. So it makes a good officer a better officer. One that ain't as good as it needs to be, it will make him do better. So it make it to benefit everybody. You know, if you needed somebody, if something come up, they would call me or call Delmer, or Delmer would call me, or he'll call Chief Hooks, because Chief Hooks was up all times, day and night. You never know when he's going to be in bed. You'd be looking up, and there he would be. He would go to bed, catch him a nap, and be up, and going again. He didn't know what slow down was. He went to the very end. He visited everybody in the country. He knew everybody in the country. He told the story one time that he was going to move away from DeFuniak. He told us a joke. He was up up in Alabama, come across a place that was Hooks Manufacturing. They said they were making those people up there. He just come on back to DeFuniak. So that's why he come on back to DeFuniak to stay. Back then, those days, elected, it was a 2-year term. So you were running, I mean, every day you worked, you were running for office for re-election. But, you know, he didn't think of it that way. He just thought it was, his job. And he wanted to do it and do it the best he could and get the best outcome he could. He was something else.